Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, currently Fat Joe has found himself in hot water after it would come out that he's being sued by a former friend / hype man who is making some very crazy claims against Fat Joe. He's accusing Fat Joe of some heinous things, including not paying him correctly, not giving him his proper writing credits when it comes to the music, but worst of all, he claims that Fat Joe was messing with teenage minors as he was an adult. Now I don't know what it is, but lately Fat Joe have been all over social media. I think it mainly started when he said what he said on Mav Hoffa's platform concerning African Americans, but then after that, it just went downhill. Fat Joe have earned himself the stigma of always lying and fabricating stories, where guys who were either affiliated with him at one point in time will call him out for lying and saying that it didn't happen the way Fat Joe is making it seem. One of the most infamous ones is when Fat Joe claimed to have had a joint project with the late Biggie Smalls, but says that the project was never released for whatever reason. Now, as far as these claims go, when it comes to him allegedly messing with minors, let me just say this, y'all. Do I think it is a certain amount of individuals in this world that get a kick out of messing with young teens? Yes. But why is it that every time we turn around, suddenly we're hearing that almost everyone in that music industry have allegedly messed with minors? And the worst part of it all is that that's an allegation where nobody even cares to wait for the verdict. So you're basically just guilty by accusation, and people cut ties because no one wants to be associated with someone with those type of claims attached to their name. And rightfully so. But my problem is, how is it that every time we turn around, suddenly we're hearing that this or that person messed with minors? Now when it comes to the man who filed the lawsuit against him, he goes by the name TA, aka Terrence Dixon. According to Fat Joe's attorneys, TA is only doing this because Fat Joe filed a lawsuit against him in April for making similar claims like this on social media, so basically this is like revenge. However, let's get into the TMZ article explaining everything detail for detail, and we'll go over what we read after. Now before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm, and if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Now the TMZ article would read, quote, Fat Joe's former hype man says in a new lawsuit, he saw the rapper have sex with underage girls who were 15 and 16 years old. But Joe says the allegations are BS. Terrence T.A. Dixon filed the lawsuit Thursday, claiming there were at least 2 minor females Fat Joe had sexual relations with, and another he allegedly fell in love with. In the docs obtained by TMZ, Dixon's attorney, Tyrone A. Blackburn, claims a 16-year-old Dominican girl will perform oral sex and other sex acts on Joe in exchange for cash, clothing, and cell phone bill payments. Dixon claimed Joe started an actual relationship with a 15-year-old Caucasian girl after meeting at an overseas concert. He said Joe flew her to New York and Miami multiple times and paid for her to get a BBL because her body was adolescent and not fully formed. Dixon claims the girl is now married to a pro athlete. In the suit, Dixon claims Fat Joe was in love with a Latina he met when she was 15 years old. He said Joe paid all the girl bills, took her overseas for tours, put her up in a condo near where he lived with his wife in Florida, and contemplated leaving his wife for her. Dixon says Joe has an unhealthy and troubling fixation on underage individuals and raps about it in She's My Mama. Joe's ex-hype man also says Fat Joe coerced him into having sex with women after concerts, sometimes in full view of other people, and says Joe underpaid him, denied him songwriting credits, and concealed royalties and back-end payments. Fat Joe's attorney, Joe Tacopina, tells TMZ The lawsuit is a blatant act of retaliation for a civil suit Joe filed against Dixon. Tacopina says the allegations are lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. And he claims law enforcement is aware of what he says are extortionate demands from Dixon. As we first reported, Joe sued Dixon back in April for defamation after Dixon allegedly made similar pedo allegations against Joe on social media. Dixon is going after Fat Joe, damaging. Now I can't lie, y'all, this sounds every bit of a smear campaign and money grab. If I did feel that Fat Joe's messing with underage girls, and if he ever gave off that energy, then I would say it. But personally, this whole lawsuit and the way it was worded sounds every bit of someone who's just trying to slander someone, and they used every key component you can to do so. He says Joe messes with minors, and then he says that he contemplated on leaving his wife for the minor. Now, key components to not only publicly make you look bad, but to also mess up his personal life as well. But keep in mind, none of us was there, so we can't accurately say what's 100% true or not. I can only speak from my point of view. But I'm guessing people seen Cassie settle for $30 million, so everyone's trying to take the settle route, right? And y'all know being a celeb, that's how it goes because it's easy. Whether it's extortion, bribery, blackmail, whatever. Someone could literally make something up, threaten you, and ask for money. And these days, no one does their own research anyway, so everyone's subjected to believe whatever as long as there's enough people talking about it. Now, how ironic that a lot of this also sounds similar to Diddy victims, saying that they were coerced into having intercourse with girls by Diddy, and they acting like they didn't want to do it, right? How can someone coerce you into having sex? Keep in mind, coerced don't mean that you were forced, right? It just means that someone told or asked you to do something in a convincing way and you did it. So all that coerced stuff, knock it off. But aside from that, here's what I'm not understanding. Why aren't we holding people like him accountable? Just like in the R. Kelly case, how all these people claim they saw him with underage girls, but did nothing about it. Come out years later and now they want to expose them for it, but no. You just as guilty. You mean to tell me you had knowledge that this man was having intercourse with minors, 15 and 16, and you stayed quiet? You're just as bad. These people that come out and do this need to be held accountable as well, whether they get hit with an accessory charge or something. But basically, he had knowledge of a crime taking place and said nothing until he had a falling out, and now he wants to expose. But guess what that means? It means that if they never had a falling out, he would still know this man allegedly had intercourse with minors and said nothing about it and was cool with it. So nah, I don't respect it. Besides, what does him filing a lawsuit for not getting paid or whatever has to do with him mentioning minors and cheating on his wife? It just sounds like he's trying to do damage. Because like I told y'all before, these type of allegations stick with you and do damage, whether it's true or not. And it's the sad part. But not to mention, right, Fat Joe has been added with former Terror Squad member who goes by the name of Cuban Link. And they've been very combative in social media and going back and forth and making claims against each other, whatever. One thing I can say is Cuban Link never mentioned Fat Joe messing with minors. To be honest with you, if I had that type of knowledge or knew that he was doing something like that and we became enemies after being friends, that would be the first thing I say. And to this day, I never personally heard Cuban Link mention Fat Joe liking minors or dealing with minors. And also, where were they parents? Right? If they 16, 15 years old, how were they able to get on flights, go to Miami and fly from here to there? How was he able to do that? Put her in condos, like something's not adding up. But like I also said, like all the rest of these cases where they claim kids were missing for 3 months into where are they parents at? You mean to tell me your daughter that's 15 and 16 years old can go missing and nobody's wondering where they are? Nobody's calling to see where their whereabouts? Like, make it make sense, man. I remember if I didn't get in the house before the street light came on, I would get tore up. So let alone going to a whole nother state, right? And staying out for days. So I don't know, man. But y'all jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time I drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I keep on dropping. I'm out.